gonna take it.
Huh?
If it was real, you wouldn't want to take it.
No, I don't like real flowers.
Some of it's what?
They remind me of funerals, I don't.
Oh, serious.
I'm serious, they tell me my everything. Okay.
Real flower.
Good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here with you this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to engage you and be able to share a bit about myself. My name is Mavrick Afonso, born and raised in the city of Boston, from Four Corners originally. Went through Boston Public Schools. I graduated from Charlestown High and found my way at Colby College in Waterville, Maine, in the middle of nowhere. Did 4 years there and came back. I'm I think the only candidate that's had experience at the federal level, the state level, and the municipal level. So I worked out of the First Circuit courts for a program called the Lindsay Fellowship and the Nelson Fellowship, named after the first African American and second African American sit on the First Circuit. And J.D. Nelson was a legend, like in the city of Boston, and then Judge Nelson as well too. Happy to take on that program. Thereafter, I worked for Governor Patrick and his administration with Mo Cowan, Senator Cowan. I was there for about a year, and then I left. I went to D.C., where I worked at a public relations firm. A board of trustee member at Colby invited me to work down with him. Did that for some time, and I saw this woman that I was really excited about. Her name was Elizabeth Warren, and she was running for Senate. And I decided that I wanted to come up to Massachusetts, and I didn't have too much money in my pocket at that time. Came back home, and went back with my mom and stayed there. And I found the nicest suit that I had in my closet, and printed out my resume on a nice piece of paper. Went to their office and said, "My name is Mavrick Afonso, and I want to support Elizabeth Warren because she's the cop on the beat that we need in this moment in Massachusetts." And I gave this whole spiel. The young lady I was talking to was like, "I'm just an intern, and do you want to talk to somebody who works here?" So they introduced me to two people, Colleen Coffey and Michael Pratt. They were Elizabeth Warren's finance directors. And I sat down with them, shared my story. They were really impressed by me. And they said, "We'd like to interview you for a position." And I was like, "Okay, but what can I do in between?" And so I made calls for Elizabeth Warren as a volunteer, calling folks and asking them to come out and knock doors for her. And was very successful at that. And then I interviewed, ended up joining the finance team. For that campaign, I've never seen so much money come into a campaign. I raised, personally, for the events that I did, $7 million for Elizabeth Warren. The campaign total raised $72 million. And so it was coming in from all over, but it was an incredible experience. But I found my niche in the field operation. I'm an organizer at heart. So they asked me to join the organizing team. So at the time, it was my very good friend, Jason Burrell, this young lady named George from California, and the mayor. There were only 3 organizers. I was Mayor Sharu. So there were only 4 organizers. So I was one of those 4 organizers who joined Team Boston. And so I organized Mattapan, Dorchester, and Roxbury. And that campaign, as many of you guys probably remember, the highest voter turnout we've seen since JFK. About 250,000 voters in the city of Boston. We haven't seen numbers like that in a very long time. It's the same time during the presidential with Obama. So we want to also take note of that. But it was still an incredible feat to get that many people out to vote. I was then hired at the Democratic Party afterwards, and I became field director. And what I did is I focused on activating communities of color across the Commonwealth. I was the field director for the state, but I told John Walsh, I want to make sure there's more people like us getting involved in the Democratic Party. So what I did is that year, 2013, we had a issues convention. So our platform for the Democratic Party. I worked actually with Brother Kenny and Makia,
My brother,
to help organize here in Boston and other areas, Worcester and Springfield. Went to go meet the Barracuda himself, Mr. Ray Jordan. And he was an interesting man. He actually worked for HUD for some time. He was the regional director. And Ray Jordan was known for organizing Springfield, and he taught me a lot. He sat down with me and said, Maverick, we need to have a conversation with John Walsh. He needs to have a coming to Jesus conversation. So I took this ride out with John Walsh, who's the Democratic chair at the time. He's telling me, get ready to get your butt kicked. So we get there, and there's a room, about 50 people, and there's just this long boardroom table. And John's at one end, and I'm to the side of him, and everybody went around the table and told him why the Democratic Party is failing the black community. Mm-hmm. And I was taking notes, because I'm like, yeah, what are we doing? And we took those notes, and we made sure we try to incorporate more people of color in the Democratic platform in 2013. And that really set off a very great chain reaction. More people started getting involved. Tina and Mel Poindexter are now involved with the Democratic Party, and really happy to see them at that position. And so I met them very early on when I was working at the Democratic Party. And then I was recruited by Charlotte Golden Ritchie to be her field
My
clerk.
ex-boss.
Yeah, for the first election for her as mayor. And so I organized as much as we can across the city, and that was the biggest heartbreak. It's the only race I was ever part of that we lost, and Charlotte deserved to be our mayor. And I thought that she was a wonderful candidate. But, you know, it was just not in the cards for us. But I had a good relationship with Marty Walsh. He hired me to help out on his team, and Charlotte and I worked very closely on that to try to activate the communities of color for him. And so he was victorious. I went on to help out other folks, including Sheriff Steve Tompkins. My prayers are with him right now.
Yes.
I hope that, you know, he didn't actually, he's absolved of these crimes. So, but, you know, he was somebody who I had a good relationship with. And, you know, then I moved on from there. Marty was just like, why are you not working for the city? You guys haven't offered me a good job yet. So they had a few different opportunities. We landed on the Boston Parks and Recreation Department. I was at the External Affairs Department. So I did all the programming outdoors, in the parks. So we had, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Please have some coffee. So I did External Affairs with essentially all the programming in the parks. So Jazz at the Fort was one of the concert series that I ran. Tito Puente Latin series. I brought a concert series to Horatio Harris Park. And we try to activate parks that typically didn't get any love, especially because there weren't many people of color calling the shots. So I was just like, I think we should come to these communities, right? It's these people want to enjoy their public spaces just as much as anybody else. So I am working alongside the maintenance crew, starting to look at some of these parks and activate them and bring programming that we've never seen in some of them. And then partnered up with BCYF centers as well too, to bring other programs like pickleball and other sports programming and archery as well too. I had a great time at Boston Parks. I was there for about 8 years. And I went to business school at the same time, graduated from Northeastern. And then I bought my home about 10 years ago on Abbotsford Street, right over here in Roxbury. So I've been here for some time and down the street. So hopefully when elected, I'll be able to come down here and talk to you guys anytime you guys got problems. And you can visit me as well too. So I did parks for some time, and then I moved on. I was tapped to join Secretary Augustus, the Secretary of Housing, his team.
What's his name?
Secretary Ed Augustus. So this is the chief housing agency in the state. They fund, you know, the city of Boston's housing, you know, the BPDA, and they fund D&D, and they work closely with HUD, but sometimes we do more than HUD in some moments because we have a lot of the funding in state as well too. So HUD has their funding, we have our funding. We provide actually, so they have Section 8, and we have a voucher program through the state as well too that we provide. And so we actually help sponsor.
Oh, I'm sorry, what is that program called? The voucher program? Email me.
Yes. So the state voucher program is essentially HUD. It's the state's version of what Section 8 is.
Oh, really?
Yes. So and that applies to state-owned property, and we have some throughout the city of Boston as well too. But some of it goes directly to people that need assistance. So like if they get a landlord that would take the voucher. My time at the Executive Office of Housing, I've been serving as Director of External Affairs. I'm on leave to run for office, but essentially my focus is to advocate for the 5-year housing plan. We did these listening sessions across the Commonwealth, 14 of them, and I did some virtually as well. And the idea was to try to gather feedback from stakeholders, constituents, municipal reps, developers, and get all these people into a room, have the tough conversation about what housing should look like in their community. And I never thought advocates and housing developers would agree on housing priorities, but we did. And we also passed around the same time the Affordable Homes Act, $5.2 billion for affordable housing across the Commonwealth, $2 billion of which is actually going to public housing to renovate, $2 billion to renovate housing public housing across the Commonwealth.
Is that, it is Commonwealth?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
So we would work with Kenzie Bach right now in this moment. Kenzie Bach oversees the BHAs in the city of Boston.
Kenzie
So
Bach.
she would request funding from the state, and the secretary and his team there would work with Kenzie Bach to try to fund some of these projects. Mary McHannon in South Boston, which is being renovated now, some of that is subsidized by the state as well too. And so I was part of the team that essentially pushed across that bill. And the way we approached it is we focused on gateway cities, 22 of them in the Commonwealth. Pittsfield, Worcester, Springfield, Lynn, Lawrence, Cape Island, Brockton. We focused in on these cities and try to activate the legislators in those areas. Because the cities alone can't do much. There's not a lot of funding going to them because the state legislature decides that. So we focused on the municipalities and built a partnership and made the point that housing is the #1 issue we're facing. And we made this case to our legislators. And we slowly but surely started to build support across the Commonwealth. It was one of the most brilliant strategies to make any bill get passed in the legislature. If you know the legislature is not super productive right now, and not many bills passed. At that time, ours was the only one. And there was an economic development bill, there was a healthcare bill as well too. There were a lot of bills being put up in the legislature, but none of them passed except housing. Because we put so much pressure on them, and we worked with providers. We created what we call the unconventional alliance in the moment. We made it hard for them to ignore our issues. And I share this long resume of experiences to show you this track record of stakeholder engagement and understanding how to organize and understanding how to be able to create a movement off the ground and lift it off to a point where it's successful. And a lot of what I've also done is to implement some of these policies. So we created the first fair housing commission for the state. And I was a part of the team that hired the first commissioner, Whitney, what's Whitney's last name? She's my colleague, and she'll kill me if I get to get her last name. Whitney Demetrius. So Whitney Demetrius, a young sister from Springfield, she's leading up fair housing for the state. And essentially, they look at the practices across the Commonwealth in every city and every town and make sure that they're practicing fair housing laws. And then we also have a commission for our elders as well too. So that is actually on the ground, which is great, to ensure that we're providing adequate housing for our seniors across the Commonwealth as well too. And the last one was the commission for our extremely low income housing as well. Because there's folks that are challenged in this moment to find housing across the Commonwealth. We haven't kept up with housing production. We haven't built enough housing in the Commonwealth. So in this moment, we're trying to figure out how do we not forget our most vulnerable populations, our seniors in this moment, creating housing for them. So I was glad to be a part of that commission and support my team on that. As external affairs director, I'm just kind of all over the place. So it's I wish I could clone myself so I could be able to do all the work. But it's been amazing work at the Executive Office of Housing, but now it's the next chapter for me. And I want to be the District 7 City Councilor. And in this moment, the challenges we face are very similar to what I've seen already. And I know the way that we can take this on. It's not gonna be with one person, right? It's not gonna be me alone. And I tell people all the time, I'm not just asking for your vote. I'm asking for your partnership.
Yeah.
I'm asking for you to be a part of what I'm building here in this moment. And so I'm asking for you to work with me. Let's figure out how to subvert and change City Hall so it can work for us. Let's get in every department, let's learn how to pull the levers, and let's make sure that we have people that are engaged and involved in each of these processes in this moment. I'm not just talking about doing this alone. Some of the greatest leaders that have come out of this community have been organizers. Chuck Turner, Mel King, people that I respect fondly and I study. And you know, Chuck's a fraternity brother of mine. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Talk to your alcohol.
But so he has many lessons he taught us, including don't do this alone. Organize other people, teach them, and make sure that they can be your disciples. And in this moment, I want to be able to build up our community and get us more civically engaged. It's not the time for us to turn away from this election cycle or any like civic engagement in the city. I hear it all the time. Nothing changes. Nobody does anything for us. Well, it ain't gonna change if you're not at the table.
Right.
So decisions are made by those who show up. And in this moment, I'm asking for all of us to show up. But we gotta show up together. We gotta show up methodical. We gotta show up organized. And we gotta show up and not fracture. So I hope to build that in this community. And that's my track record.
Very impressive.
I'll gladly take any questions, because I know y'all, I'm 37 years old.
Oh, shoot. My granddaughter's older than me.
There's a lot of experience in that time, though.
Huh?
There's a lot of experience in that time.
I know.
And believe me, I take my bumps and bruises as well, too.
But,
You more than
can
one
I,
of this place.
people, I'm not trying to take over.
Yes, you are.
You know what? I'm glad you're the first one that came in here now, because the name's in it, Brother Kenny, right? That's my younger brother. For so they learned from me. I'm number one, but I've had 4 strokes, so I'm slowing
I
down.
remember Brother Kenny's voice still to this
You
day
know what?
very
I'm
vividly.
gonna have to.
Mavrick, come over here. Where did you learn how to organize?
He's been organizing since he was 9. But the thing about it, my brother is, he's in a wheelchair now, that's why, but I'm getting ready to do something in his building,
Where's he at?
820, but we're gonna talk later about that.
Connect us. I'd love to
I'm
see
paid,
it.
as soon as we, I wish I could be here and listen, but I'm gonna do one, I'm just gonna say this, right?
Yeah.
I've worked 41 years, 44 years in organizing, and I can't stop saying, my son was murdered, that's what started me to organize. He was 15 years old, he was stabbed in Orchard Park, and people think I should be mad because I mentioned Bobby Brown, but there's nothing politicians would say. But I don't care until it's resolved in my heart and God tells me to stop, I'm gonna continue.
You should.
So the thing about it is, and like my brother, now my son was 15 and she was 16, right? And let me see, Brother Kenny, he's the only one that held me together, right? Because I should have been dead a while ago, 4 strokes. And I can talk and I thank God every day. And right now I am going through a period like August, it was 43 years when the 23rd, right? And my kids know on the 23rd and the 20th when we were born, I go through this. And I act like I don't know, I'm admitted, I have to take medication. And I know something's wrong because I'm swearing and snapping, and I normally don't do that. And the only thing I haven't really went to the doctor is because past the 23rd, right? So I went to go to his grave. I put Yahoo and Will Dunn, who I found out yesterday is my cousin. They took me to the cemetery, right? And they bought and placed flowers on my son. People think I'm a failure. They told me the other day, I feel like Sarah. The time frame is too short, right? And it pissed me off. I said, you all don't know me. I'm an organizer. daughter graduated, I organized her graduation party in 3 days, so I'm not gonna go through all that. But anyway, I can write, I'm gonna write a book, but the thing about it, these people, right, like Marty Walsh, when my husband died, he's the only one called me to give my student his symphony. And I haven't talked to him since, because I've had 2 strokes, but I got his number now, and I'm gonna call Marty, maybe right after this. But, the question I really wanna ask, like before when I first
Can I
came.
say my deepest
Oh,
condolences
okay,
to
thank you.
I'm sorry about that. No matter how much time goes by.
Oh, people like my son, like when Bobby Brown does his stuff, he brings back all those, not only for me and my kids, all those kids they carry my son home, right? So I'm not finished with that, but that's another story. But tell Don to call me, my number and stuff is still the same, okay? And the thing, I was the 3rd vice president in NAACP up until 2020, right? And I left to help start an organization, Mavrick for Justice and Equality. Me and my sister are co-founders, right? And they fired both of us. She don't, the only reason I have.
That's right, am I right?
I haven't really, this is the first time I said it. But with NAACP, I've had like about 5 shared positions. My question is during election, right? We used to rent vans on election day.
Yeah.
And we had what you say, a little man, spot where we manned the phones and you could call in, say you wanted to go vote, right? You would take you to go vote and bring you back. That's for the whole city. But now here, this is 7, right? And we're focused on the 7. So I know someone is going to give Lynn on election day 2 vans for this building. Now, would you consider something like that, to take them back and forth to the polls? Well, it's just down the street, but like last time, everybody,
Now, when you say Lynn, are they gonna drive the van?
they're gonna drive it,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or what about renting them? Huh?
or you mean like, my campaign?
Yeah, say your campaign, say, cause Gloria Fox and them,
Right
used to
now,
call it.
If I have the money, if I could raise it,
Mhm.
I'd be very interested in it. But right
Well,
now,
let's talk about it.
I'm obligated to paying like my employees,
Mhm.
so I gotta get that, that
Right,
money in
I
first.
understand that.
But, the
What
right
do you do
to,
for volunteers? They used to give you a stipend, you do that? No.
no, they're volunteers, they do it for free.
No, we did it, no, we were volunteers, but.
It defeats the purpose. So, when you ask somebody to come out for you and they believe in you,
No, I know the difference.
then
But
I'd like to be
some
able to pay.
people,
But
yeah.
this is a district campaign.
No, I'm not talking about, I'm not necessarily.
You mean just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, I'd be very much
Because like me
supportive.
myself, if it's a candidate I'm gonna support, I'll help them get the money to do that. It's just a question. So anyway, we would do that and see, there's a lot of things NAACP and other organizations are not doing in the community. And see, you're hiding from me because I'm going to tell them that.
Ms. Flint, can we have some other extra questions?
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
No, I'm gonna have my private meeting with him later.
And, you know, and
I'm
I'll,
sorry, I'm shut up, I will not say another word.
no, I will make myself available to everybody, but maybe we just like go around and have everybody that has a
Okay.
question,
I'm
one
sorry,
question.
folks, I'll never do that again in one of our meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Flint.
Okay, I promise, and if I do, don't be looking at me like. We know you.
Sorry, do you have a question?
Ms. Pro, did you have a question?
Leave it there.
Hi, nice to meet you, Russ.
It's a great
I'm
pleasure.
I'm just getting here, so we can have.
Okay, she'll have her questions at the end, all right?
Yeah,
Who else has a question?
but you had one.
I do, but I'm gonna go last.
Yes, sir.
You said you work with the Parks Department?
Yes, sir.
How come, well, maybe if I vote for you, you get elected, you can do this for us.
Right.
In the tennis courts, when you go out in the suburbs, they have backboards in case you have nobody to play with. Not everybody anybody plays tennis.
Yeah.
But if you have a backboard, you can go over there and use that.
And you guys want to hear a Malcolm
We
X?
don't have anywhere over here, they don't have them in the inner cities.
Yeah, so when negotiating with,
In the city?
as city
In the
councilor,
inner cities, they don't have them.
Oh.
when you're supposed to advocate obviously for your district, especially during budgeting process, this is the perfect time to make these asks. So as, you know, in other areas, or like at the state level, they're gonna call them earmarks, but here in the city of Boston, this is just agreement with like the Parks Department. So, you know, I need to advocate for my like constituents here in this community. And I understand the whole process and the capital budget process, and it's not as expensive in a lot of situations. It's just a matter of will and being able to advocate for that. So I don't think that's a very difficult
They have a
task.
great program over here at Washington, I call it Washington Park, Tenacity.
Yeah, so I used to
But
partner up
you
with
see
them.
younger kids walking around
Yeah.
with nobody else to play with. If you have a backboard, you can use that backboard like you're playing with something.
Yeah, so with Tenacity, when I was at Boston Parks and Recreation Department, we brought them in every year and we funded their programs and we permitted out the parks and then we gave them equipment. So I was responsible for essentially all like Tenacity for the city of Boston. And we did some great work with them and continued that partnership and just built the infrastructure so when I left Parks Department, they could continue their programming. So, but we're discussing in this moment the capital budget project, and it's not that difficult to kind of initiate that conversation. It's just one of the requests that I would have to put in when we're talking about the budget for the year. I'm not gonna promise it's gonna be done immediately, but it's like when the next budget cycle comes around, we have that negotiation with the Parks Department. If they have some capital available for that fiscal year and they didn't spend through everything, we can try to work something out sooner than later. But it's not a very difficult like ask to put in at the moment. It's just, let's work. And this is what I mean about making sure that we are working together on this. I'm not gonna know all the answers or all the solutions in the moment or what people want. So I need folks like yourself to be active and engaged with me to help me understand where we need to put these resources. And furthermore, the District 7 Advisory Council that was created, I envision creating subcommittees for each. And for those subcommittees, we can have one, say, for open space and have residents, people from our community serve on those communities and advise me on policy that I should put forth or actions. So for example, if you wanted to serve on that, like for open spaces, we would look at some of our parks in the district and what's our priorities instead of take on some of those actions. So I appreciate that. So I think that could be.
No, Sarah.
Sarah, we'll come back to you.
I'm talking in words. Okay, that's all you gotta say, shut up.
Sure.
I won't be
My question is, and I think I understand somewhat about the map of the district, but the communities in my mind seem kind of different from each other. How do you get us all to work together and what's your strategy?
Yeah, no, so you couldn't see a stark contrast when it comes to wealth in the district. Like no other district has this much wealth disparity. Because you have South Bend and you have Fenway and you have Roxbury and you have parts of Dorchester. Life expectancy increases dramatically when you cross Mass Ave, and so does the wealth as well too. So understanding that dynamic, very early on I wanted to just kind of say flat out, like I want to close the wealth gap within the district. And that didn't resonate with a lot of people, but I'm like, but that's really the goal here. When we're talking about finding homeownership opportunities, not just affordable housing. When we're talking about workforce development to help increase opportunities for people to have better jobs and careers for themselves. And then working our educational system to ensure we're sending our kids to the best institutions or vocational programs that can help them, create the career that they need, and bringing the anchor businesses to our communities that can support us. It's a very diverse district from that perspective. And what we need to do is address the root causes of why that disparity exists. But it's also this idea, again, and I'm gonna keep saying this, I'm not doing this alone. So it's about really establishing a strong District 7 Advisory Council and having people from all parts of the district come together and work on specific issues. Incredible things happen when you actually bring opposition or people that feel different about something into the same room. Let's pressure test these ideas. Let's have this tough conversation. Let's put it to a vote.
Yeah.
This is what's important about our process. It's not always gonna be perfect, and it's not always gonna be like pleasant. But let's have these tough conversations. Because when we strip our ability to have these tough conversations and come to a consensus, we essentially empower kings. People that make unilateral decisions. I'd rather the voices of many reign supreme than one individual. So that's how we come to consensus in a moment. And I'm not saying it's gonna be a pretty process, but when we have people from the South End, Fenway, and Dorchester, and Roxbury come in the room and talk about our priorities and have the voting power of each involved, I think we can make the best decisions in those moments for the district. And we're not gonna be able to serve everybody. It's about the majority in this moment, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And you can ask me about anything, even personal life. I don't have a dog. I like it.
I was gonna say, is Colby College in Lewiston, Maine?
No, it's, so Lewiston, Maine, I think it's Bates. That's our rival.
Okay.
We feel sorry for anybody that goes to Bates. No,
No,
so-
okay. So I think my cousin works at the one in Lewiston, Maine.
Yeah. Yeah, we have this ongoing joke, because all three schools in Maine, like Bowdoin, Bates, and
Yeah,
Colby,
He's at Bates, never mind.
they're all wonderful schools, and all of them, they're called mini Ivies. They're
Yeah.
some of the top tier schools in the nation. It's like, we're essentially all, and I learned this because there weren't many people of color when I went to Colby. I joke around, I was like, there's 3 people of color. There's me, a professor, and a custodian. That was about it. But it was 98% white. So, and then you go there, and these are the kids of the elite in America, from the wealth perspective. Like, a lot of the kids that I went to, I think 20% of them were family, they were in the families of billionaires. And I'm this broke kid from Dorchester that had to work essentially my whole life in order to be able to have anything. And when I got to college, I had to have like jobs to even keep up with my colleagues and stuff like that. So there was a huge wealth disparity there, and a cultural experience was very different too. But you know, I still appreciated COVID, because it showed me that you know, through adversity, this is when you see the greatest growth in yourself. And you know, you got to be uncomfortable sometimes to find yourself. And you be pressured in a way that you know. And I don't take away from that experience. And you know, I have the story when I went to Colby. You know, everybody comes in with baggage. You know, some people, you know, they'll come with backpacks, duffel bags, suitcase. I came with a truckload. I had a lot of baggage. I was way behind, you know, in terms of, because I wasn't prepared by Boston Public Schools for this education. I didn't have the wealth that many of these folks had. I didn't have the cultural familiarity that a lot of these folks at Colby had. I was a black sheep in many different ways. But I worked my butt off to graduate on time and unload that baggage over time. And I joke around at the end, I was like, everybody got rid of their baggage to the point that I walked out with an envelope. And that's all that I had with me. And that was my certificate for graduation. And it was an incredible experience. But for Bowdoin, or for Bates, I guess. Yeah, Bowdoin Bates.
Yeah, no, you tagged it right. This is a student, a custodian, and a professor. He's a professor at.
Okay. Right. We joke around with each other because we all make fun of each other. We like, friends don't let other friends go to Bates.
That's funny.
I wish I actually went to Morehouse, because my mentor was from, and but Morehouse wasn't giving me any type of money.
And I'm going to ask you, what chapter AFI?
You frat? Okay. Okay. Epsilon Gamma. Spring 24. Nice to meet you, bro.
86.
86. Okay. I'm absolutely you.
See?
That's beautiful. Thank you, brother.
You don't know.
I wanted to, after you become city council? Are you gonna stay in, office, you gonna do something else? Like run for governor or something?
No, I appreciate it speaking into existence. I gotta work for everybody's vote until I get to that point, and I hope to have the honor and pleasure to serve. But I tell many people this, actually, even some counterparts that are on the state council, other men of color. Listen, I care about my community, and I don't really care about much else outside of that. So I'm here to serve my community, and I don't want to do this for a very long time. What I want to do, I envision probably at most 3 terms, and I want to build the infrastructure, and I want to help uplift the leaders that are going to take over, because I want them to do a better job for me, but I got to lay the groundwork for them. So I don't want to do this forever, and at some point, I want to be a private citizen, so I can call 311 in Niagara City of Boston and ask them why they're not doing what they need to do for the district. I know how this gets done, you guys need to deliver. So I think that's what I envision for myself. I want to be able to help correct the way people see our community. Because we hear this all the time, and it's a culture shift that we need in this moment. We do need to be more civically engaged. We are engaged in our community. We know what's happening. We know the troubles that we're facing. We show up for each other at our parties, graduations. We even show up to mourn our own. But in this moment, we're just not showing up to vote the way we should. So we need to start to change people's mind that, because I'm going to be straight up with you. There are elected officials that look at our community and make unilateral decisions because they know people are not going to turn out and vote.
You're right.
So they're not afraid of us. So I want to strike fear into their heart, and I want them to respect our vote. But that starts with us. I know you guys are going to vote, but who's coming with you? As President Obama said when he was in office, I'm not worried about you showing up. I'm worried about the 10 people that you're going to bring with you.
Yeah, we go too. That's right.
And let's engage people in our community that's not focused in this election in this moment, that are not thinking about voting.
I know.
Because these are exactly the people we have to talk to in this moment to help have that impact. I want to change the way people treat us, specifically Roxbury, because we are overlooked and many decisions are made for us. We need to put an end to that. And the way we do that is we show up when we start pulling the levers for our community. We got everything we need in this community to achieve what we want and to take care of ourselves. What I need people to do is get out of our way. And sorry if I get passionate about this. I've been watching, like many of you all, you've been watching for longer, of course, all these injustices happen in our community. And I know you're tired of it, and people are saying, I'm tired of fighting. I am too.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I'm trying to move us to a place where we are actually thriving. That's why my slogan is, together we thrive. Because that's the only way we're gonna achieve it. We gotta work together, and we gotta activate each other.
Open the floor.
Can I talk? Again, I'm the first one. I'm so good for right now. But my question is, I've been there 5 years. No, 6, right? And I've been trying to organize, but then there's barriers for management.
Organize, what are you trying to organize?
I was just trying to organize voter registration. You know, I was given I was able to get a voter registration table, got the pictures downstairs. Beyond, I keep telling you, they got nothing to do with you.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand.
But I
You
gotta
have
say,
a boss.
right?
You say it.
So, what you say?
Right on. You say what you got
Right,
to say.
so, it's, like, I'm gonna tell you about me, like I said, I started this after my son was born, and I was determined, when he inherited it, the kids, they carried his body to me. He bled to death in front of me when I was the starter. People have been using my son and the history of my son for 40 years, profit. I can't get them to give me $100 for scholarship, right? My son, I taught, my son was a court officer for 20 years. They stripped him of his career. MCAD, that's why I gotta see Myra Hill. Because last time I saw her before she came in office, I said, I want to talk to you about MCAD, how survivors of homicides are treated, right? But I had a stroke and I'm just trying to get, she may not see you, I bet you she's gonna see me. So
What about the voter registration? What was your?
Oh,
about that?
see, that's my problem. Who was it? Remember when I was meeting with you and Carol said, stay focused? I said, Carol, you need to be with me every time I meet with somebody.
It's okay, I can reel you back in.
Wait,
Yes,
to your
yes, you
point,
can.
I can try to answer, are you doing this alone?
Yes, because people, see, they forgot
And
what
that's-
I can do.
that's the
No,
problem.
Yeah, because I'm giving.
We gotta work with other people.
Well, I gotta talk to you because you work for the state, right? And
So who can we partner with? This is the type of thing that we gotta do. When we start off with an issue,
If Rogerson House don't mess with me, not mess with me, stop me, stand in my way. I'd like to organize, regardless of who the candidate is, a group of us to put that together. I'm not one, my brother Kenny, when I first, you wouldn't believe how this Rogerson House has treated me and my family. You must, see,
Okay, Ms. Lynn.
okay.
You can come down and talk to me
Yeah.
about Rogerson.
Yeah, I will, but if you don't listen to me, I'll go, no.
but in this moment, a few points,
Mhm.
when we think about, as an organizer, we don't do things alone, right?
I know.
We turn to other people, let's find other organizations that can help us out in this moment. And then, anybody in here care about voter registration? Yes? So,
Does anybody here care about voter registration this year?
yeah. And so, I think,
Okay.
so in a moment when we're thinking about some of the challenges we face, too often we think about it doing it on our
As
own.
an individual
No, I
process.
don't, 'cause
And-
brother Kenny.
Yeah.
Right? I told, my whole family knows about this situation. But he said to me, he said, Sarah, don't do what he said, don't be out front. You know, I know for a fact.
So then,
Call you-
find an organization that does voter
I
registration
got
and work,
I was doing it myself.
and that's the problem. We can't do it alone.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay, I got it.
We gotta work with, and
I got the organization.
then let's do that.
But what I'm doing, I'm saying, I'm trying to get
And then
these social
just a
coordinators,
quick figure about voter registration in the community. We always think about like voter registration in our community. So there's 80,000 people in District 7, roughly, every district, right? Do you know how many people register to vote in the district?
Maybe 1,000.
How many?
37,000 people are registered.
Not even half, huh?
Right.
No, that's actually not terrible for a voting population, right?
Okay.
37,000. You know how many people turned out in a preliminary election?
Wait a minute, I've been working on the poll. I know one thing I can say, Rogerson House has the biggest turnout, because
Just like for the preliminary election, just throw out a number, or you can even say a percentage. Like what percent you think turns out in this district? Huh?
25%? 25%?
So just over 27% of people turn out. So about like in the preliminary election, it's actually less. It's like 8,000 people turn out, the most. Preliminary election, so September 9th, for example. That's what's being estimated. For a general election in this district, no more than 10,000 people have turned out. We actually haven't broke 10,000 people turning out in an election. So out of 37,000 people, the most that show up is under 10,000 people. So that's quick math. That's like a little over 25%.
How does that compare across districts?
So other districts, similar numbers, they will turn out probably 15% to 20, or 15,000 to 20,000 people. So there goes our problem there. So we focus a lot on registering people, but they also need to turn out.
Yeah.
And we need to pull people out. And folks don't always vote in every election. And the point here is, it's not just about the presidential election. It's not just about the mayoral election. It's about your state rep. It's about your state senator. It's about the register of deed. It's about your city councilor.
Yeah.
All these positions matter.
Right.
And so when you say, I don't know these people, they like it that way. It's very intentional. Because less people are gonna vote during those elections for these individuals. How many times do you skip somebody on the ballot is like, I don't know any of these people?
Yeah.
It happens way too often.
What
happens
all
all-
is, I've been saying, like, I've been a member of NAACP for, I don't know, maybe since I was about 15. I was trained by the best, Roscoe Morris and Lindy Owens, right? They passed away, and I'm still upset. They haven't given them the recognition, right? So that's why I'm gonna deal with the Boston Book. My brother Kenny used to tell people, my sister's only NAACP. Him and my sister Basol used to complain to me. I said, don't complain to me, go get your $30 and vote, be at the meeting, and you could vote on these issues. You know,
Right.
I'm saying,
And I bet you they wouldn't disagree with this advice. I don't care who you vote for. You may not agree with any of the candidates, write somebody in. I don't care if it's Mickey Mouse. Write somebody in.
but you know, my thing is, I tell everybody, like you, like I was asked, did I know you? I looked at your picture, I said, I don't know him. But now you just told me how I know you.
Organized right next to each other.
But like I said, I just told you that. That's
No.
why I recognize you.
And you
Not
know,
making
sometimes
excuses, but not.
for this campaign, there are 11 people running. And it is, there's a lot of people and a lot of people to get to know. In a moment when you have, and this was actually a study done,
Yeah.
if you go to a restaurant, right, and you get a menu that has 100 items on it, you have so much more difficult time choosing what you want to eat.
Yeah.
Because you're always thinking about, hey, what about if I miss out and this is actually better, right? And you always, it's buyer's remorse. But they said, if you go to a restaurant and they only have 5 things on the menu, you choose one thing, you're gonna have less buyer's remorse, and you're probably gonna feel more satisfied with your end result. And in this moment, we do have 11 people, and it is gonna be more work to try to figure it out.
Right.
But it's also incumbent on us to try to find a way to reach you and engage you on the issues and talk to you. And that's the democratic process in a lot of ways. There's things that we need to change about it,
Right.
but usually the winners deserve it because they've done the work to get out and engage voters.
Well, that's gonna be my next question. As you've been talking to groups like this, what kind of energy are you seeing?
Yeah, no, and I've been all over the place talking to folks and having genuinely positivity, right, after folks engage with me. Because my message is pretty clear. Nobody's here to save us.
Right.
We got to do this together.
Exactly.
And no one person is going to have all the answers. That's why I'm turning to you. And I'm trying to engage you in this moment. I'm trying to gather feedback and understanding, and then your partnership as well too. Generally, people feel that's refreshing. Because I remember I was out gathering signatures over here at Marksdale, came across this woman. Two women sitting on the bench. And, you know, I was, you know, handing out my signature paper, you know, and telling them a bit about myself. Two of the women were like, you sound so good, we're gonna vote for you, you sound really good, and we've heard about you. And this third woman came along, she had a walker, she sat down, she had a face mask, and she had these thick rimmed glasses, she's looking at me pensively, everything I had to say. And then she just interrupted, she goes, you sound good, but you sound like every other politician that's come here. Everybody has something really good to say. When it comes time to deliver, they don't deliver. And you're probably gonna win because you sound good. But you know what? I'm gonna be a thorn in your side, and I'm gonna hold you accountable.
Wow.
I sat back and I said, what's your name, ma'am? She said, my name is Miss Barrett. And I said, Miss Barrett, what I'm asking for you is not just to hold me accountable, not just to be a thorn in my side. I'm asking you to guide me. I'm asking you to be with me. I'm asking you to be with me every day. Today, tomorrow, election day, every day after that. I'm tired of seeing people like you fighting by yourself, and I'm tired of us thinking we can do this by ourselves. So I want to work with you, and I need you to guide me. I need you to be my North Star. So, give me your signature papers. And she said, asked me, she's like, how can I help? How can I get involved? I was like, Ms. Barrett, we could find different ways to do this. What do you care about? I care about the sidewalks. She's like, I go with my walker and some of them are broken and everything. And we find people tripping all the time. I was like, this is what we can do together. I was like, you can do this. I was like, you have a cell phone? She's like, yes, she has a cell phone. She was just like, I was like, you can use it. You could take pictures and you could send 311s to the city of Boston. Or you could call 311 and report these issues. When you have that reporting, I have data to go off of and reach out to the respective departments and ask, why are you ignoring my constituent? But we need the data. We need people active. So we go out canvassing our communities. We pick out all the problems with our community. We document these moments. But we gotta do it together, because if we have more of these reports going in, I understand how these departments operate. The more 311 requests they get, and the more pressure they get from other elected officials, the more they're apt to resolve that problem in that given moment. Because the mayor doesn't want to hear about it. Those departments don't want to hear about it. When it comes down to budget, I'm gonna have all this data. I have all these 311 requests that you've been ignoring. Why the hell should I give you extra money for your department? Why shouldn't I strip away your budget right now and give it to another contractor that can handle this? So it becomes an accountability measure. And sometimes, you bring the carrot and you try to lead with the carrot. And if that don't work, the stick is gonna be the people in this community. Your voice is gonna beat them over the head. And that's why I think we need to be super organized in how we approach this. But I know the pain points. I know where to press. I know how to engage. Start off with carrot, and we move over to stick. We're not gonna get everything that we want. Sometimes we'll have to compromise, but I'm gonna be sure that we're gonna get more than what we get now.
You know what? I need my son to talk. This system has broke my son. I mean, he was up there. I mean, I used to do voter registrations with my kids when they turned 18. All of them are registered. Even my grandkids. I got great-granddaughters that are 19 years old. I got old my arm in myself. But I want to bring them back. I was talking to him about what he knows how I am. He was upset with me. He said, Mom, why do you keep helping these people? And during this time, you know how he was afraid for me. But if you talk to someone, you don't trust nobody anymore. You said the ball package. The law was, he was the governor when my son was going through that. But hopefully I can get him to talk to you. But
Yeah, it's kind.
and like you were saying about you don't have to know anybody. I do, like my thing, I work with mass vote, right? I've done all of them, and I've been telling people in your place, we do all these here voter registrations, right? But yeah, okay, I can register 150, how many of those 150 voted? My thing is, you do all this voter registration drives, you get the votes, but you don't educate them.
Right.
Like what Priscilla's
That's a
doing
big
with
part
the
of it.
youth. That's good, right?
Well, that's why I want to bring around the quarterly town halls. Charlotte Gold Richie used to do this.
Charlotte Gold Richie, right?
She used to do the
I
quarterly.
know, when she ran for city council, right? I was chairing the Orchard Park Tennis Association. I did a community meeting in Mavrick. Charlotte was the only one, I said, well, who are you and where you come from, right? She became state rep, and she's always looked out for me. I want to work for the city, right? And when Charlotte came, I went, you don't know how many of those D&D heads commissioners, right? I went through all of them. Charlotte was the last one I worked with. And they told me in the city hall, you bet, at DMV, you better not mess with Sarah. Charlotte protected me until she went to the state.
Yeah.
And when she went to the state, I had issues, and they forced me to retire. Even though, I mean, I went,
No, but you know, like in a case like Charlotte, you don't always see the shooting star until it's in the sky.
but you know, but,
She's
yeah, I know, I love Charlotte. You met her with me down City Hall. She remembered Lisa's name. She said, Sarah, how's your sister Lisa? And so she,
I said, that's good.
yeah, she,
Sorry, you had a question?
oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
I
you do
did
yours.
have a question.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know, what are your plans for housing?
Oh,
Yeah,
so you got me going
thank
now,
you.
so.
Because, when I don't live in the city of Boston, but my parents and family do, like I mentioned
Yeah.
to you, and, they do struggle a lot with
Yeah.
finding housing for low income. It seems that
Yeah.
the affordable housing is, not that affordable, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of income brackets, they're like, you know, 50,000 to 80,000.
Yeah.
Normally, our community members don't make that kind of money.
So let me talk about that dynamic
Yeah.
and then talk about housing in general, how I approach
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
So HUD's AMI, area median income, is why we have this problem, because area median income is like they take an area and they get the average or the median income for the area. And in this case, HUD decided, let's place Boston, Andover, Waltham, Newton in the same area or greater Boston area. So you get outside of Boston, that's actually probably the area median income, like it's a lot higher. They probably make 6 figures or so.
Right.
But
Wow.
when you get into Roxbury, the area median income for Roxbury is actually closer to $60,000, not $100,000.
Exactly.
So there's this great disparity when the federal government, because they fund a lot of these projects, and they put forward their guidance. And the problem is with that, is developers they're only required to adjust to those incomes. And that's HUD's model.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
HUD's model is out of whack. And so a lot of the developments we see are based off of HUD's model, because they get a lot of federal funding.
Right.
And the state has thought about doing its own AMI, but we don't have nearly as much funding as HUD.
Yeah.
But with Donald Trump running into the ground,
Oh, wow.
maybe that's gonna change, because what I've been lobbying and advocating for the state is that we need to have a more like localized AMI. And I'd like to see an AMI for every community to get more accurate take. So that's problematic. But what the city has done, the city's actually been trying to do some good work on this. They adjust the AMI, so like, let's say, they look at Roxbury and they say, the HUD AMI, Roxbury AMI is really 30% of the states, or the federal governments. The federal governments are like 130,000 right now, for 100%. So they're saying at 30%, which is closer to like 40-something thousand, 45,000. It's like, that's the actual income of people, the median income in the area. So that's what we need to create housing for. So the city has made sure that 20% of the housing stock, or they're advocating for 20% of new housing has to be that.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem is, it's always gonna keep going up.
Yeah.
Rent, you start off something that is affordable. It's gonna increase. And that's just what happens.
Yeah.
Because the market forces. I think the greatest stability tool we have is home ownership. Home ownership in this community, amongst the black and brown community, is below 20%.
That's right.
Our white counterparts own homes at 70% or higher in this district.
In this district.
In this district. So if you go to the South End, a lot of those folks own their condos, own their homes. In this part of Roxbury, a lot of people rent. Now, this is not uncommon for a city, because in a city, about 35% of people rent. And that kind of makes sense, because let's say a triple decker, only one person owns a triple decker. The rest are tenants, right? Like two other units. So that's kind of in line. That makes sense. But why are we below 20%? We have more investors over.
Yeah.
So for me, any developer that comes into the community and seeks approval from me, I wanna see home ownership opportunities. Let's create affordable home ownership opportunities for people in this community. Because there are people that are qualified to buy a home, they just don't have enough housing stock. Because we haven't kept up with housing production for over 3 decades in this community. So we're well beyond our targets.
Yeah.
The population keeps growing. And I tell folks all the time that are like, we don't want any more housing. Where are your kids gonna live?
Right.
Where are your grandkids gonna live? We need to build a housing for them,
Yeah.
because we just don't have enough housing stock.
Yeah.
And Roxbury has the largest share of parcels of land, or largest number.
I know.
And a lot of that has come through eminent domain. Houses get burned down,
Yeah.
the city takes over, and they haven't created new housing on that.
Right.
So I wanna take that land from the city to be able to build housing for people, home ownership opportunities for people in our community.
Yeah.
And then any developer that wants to build in our community, I wanna see a certain percentage, 20% at minimum. Actually, let's push that number up, 25%. So a quarter of what you build needs to include home ownership opportunities. So it could be a townhouse, it could be a condo. I need home ownership.
Right.
Or even standalone, one family, up to 2 family homes.
Yeah.
So, and there's funding that we could pull from the state called the Commonwealth Building. And I get in the weeds about all this, I can bore y'all about how we can fund a lot of these models. But we have the tools to create housing,
Yeah.
and the state provides that. And HUD to a certain extent. You just need somebody who knows how to navigate those programs and be able to lobby it. And guess who has a great relationship with the Secretary of Housing today? So, and he said to me, we're gonna work with each other one way or another. He said, because he was just like, look, he goes, when you win, because he feels strongly I win, he goes, I love, and we're gonna be working very closely to try to develop the housing in your district communities.
Let me ask you a question with regard to seniors
Thank you.
owning
Oh,
housing.
okay.
And I ask this from the perspective of, I took care of my mom before.
Yep.
You know, she passed and moved here. She lived in her house to the age of 98. One of my reasons for taking care of her is because I knew she couldn't do the upkeep. And the other thing is, the house, you know, the mortgage had been retired. So the tax bill would come and as one lump sum. So it will help her pay that, that sort of thing. A lot of seniors don't have that same sort of thing. What kinds of things can be done to help seniors with the upkeep of their home and to handle those kinds of tax bills that come?
Yeah, so there are programs right now with the city of Boston that do support our seniors. So first, let's start off with owning the home itself. I want to pilot a program where we help seniors put their homes in a trust. Why is this important? Because people think a will is going to be safe and fine. I can pass on my home to my family and loved ones until you have to go through probate court. And you have to pay estate tax, which could be 20 to 30% of the home's value.
Wow.
So the home that you bought for $60,000 is now worth $1.2 million. You got to find a way to pay $200,000 to $350,000 like the family after the passes.
Been there, okay.
Right. So you have this problem, and it's like, who has that money just laying around? And then if the banks may not be willing to lend you in the moment in that short term, because you got to come up with it pretty quick. So I want to pilot a program where we help people put their homes in the trust. So we work with attorneys, because usually to put your home in a trust, it's like $1,500 to $2,500. So if we can help supplement those costs for people or educate people about this if they have the ability to put their home in a trust, so that way it can just roll over to your family. So that way you don't have to have you lose that home, because let's do the math. You spend $1,500 today, you save your family $200,000 to $300,000 down the line. That the math is mathing in that moment. So let's try to get more people in their homes in the trust. And a lot of realtors and developers don't want that to be the case, because when it goes into a trust, it goes through probate, they snatch it off the market pretty easily before it even hits the market. So that's why you see a lot of these homes that are being sold below market, because it went through the courts, and the courts are like, We just need to satisfy the bill to the court,
Yeah.
I mean, to the bank.
Mm.
Put the homes in the trust, that's one piece. I'm a huge advocate for automated exemptions for seniors. So like the home tax exemptions, like for taxes.
Mm.
So you wanna make sure that some seniors can't navigate, go on the website or deal with the departments and stuff like that to be able to get these exemptions. So we automate it.
Mm.
We know that they're homeowners, we know that they're seniors, we know that they live there. So why are we making them jump through hoops for an exemption in this moment? The other piece is, we gotta further subsidize those exemptions.
Mm.
So right now, you pay half of your tax burden if you're a resident or you're a senior. For seniors, I wanna bring it down to a quarter. So you pay a quarter of your tax, because that keeps going up. We need to provide the people that have built our communities, that have paid it forward, that help build this community over time. The opportunity to continue to live there, because they're on fixed income, so we don't want to overburden our seniors and so on. So that's my idea. I think we can pull from other areas in the budget to be able to fund certain programs, or even eliminate some programs because they don't make sense. I think we need to preserve and protect our seniors in this moment. And then as far as helping them to upkeep and maintain their homes, the city does have a lot of programs that can help them with maintenance and forgivable grants. So I'd love to put more funding into that as a city councilor.
I think it's a matter of, getting the word out about that.
That too.
And unfortunately, you can't get the word out to the senior, because as I said, my mom lived to 98. Someone who's 98 is not paying attention to those
Yeah.
things. Not that the faculties, the mental faculties weren't there, it's just that the connection.
Yeah, so as my office, I would be very dedicated to ensure that we're informing seniors about this. But this is also why the District 7 Advisory Council is very important. So we have a committee for seniors specifically, and we focus on senior issues. And these subcommittees are actually gonna go out to the community and do stakeholder engagement, have meetings. And then at our town halls, we inform people as well too. The town hall, let me take a step back, will be an opportunity for us to educate people about a specific initiative, but it will be an opportunity for us to vote on our priorities. So I think it's a dual mandate. But we could use these as our tool to help spread the word about programs. Our community, our sense of community is broken down. Back in the day when I was a kid, if I got into trouble, I get a butt whooping from my neighbor first,
Right.
before I got home.
Exactly. Then you got another one.
Yeah.
What happened to that culture? What happened to that sense of community?
Yeah.
Because my neighbor was looking out for me just as much as my parents were.
Right.
I miss that, and I think we need to go back to that. And so, and some people call me foolish because it's like, it's foregone, that can't come back. But I want to try to build that in our district as much as we can, because I really feel like if we can't solve all the issues, life will at least be a lot easier when we have each other. And even further, that's how we push back against what's happening on the federal level with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is getting away with this because we thought about things as an individual.
Right.
We got away from the community and the collective. We need to return back to that. I know I've been keeping you guys here
No,
pretty
no,
late,
I got.
and I hope y'all appreciate it.
I really do, definitely.
I can leave my flyers and I can leave my business cards. It'd be remiss, I was actually told by Louis and Lisa the other day.
That's my oldest granddaughter.
Louis and Lisa was like, you gotta ask people before they vote. Don't just talk to them and walk away from them.
Right.
So in this moment, I wanna ask for your support. I wanna ask for your vote.
So Louis is on your team, or?
So Louis is playing it close to the chest. I feel like he likes me, but
Well, I'm gonna ask him if he.
please do.
Okay.
Please do. I can't say he's with me, but I would absolutely welcome and appreciate
You
it.
know, it's hard to read sometimes.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say to you is when you said with, you and Chuck, right? Chuck and I were the original Roxbury Neighborhood Council. I was the only woman on here, right, from Orchard Park. And the men used to try to pull it. Chuck taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to pay my respects in the past, but I got a whole
Thank
lot
you
of
for that.
pictures of me and him. And, it's to the point of that, we were the only elected Roxbury council. The rest after that, the mayor had control, just like the mayor took control of the Boston Housing Authority.
Yeah.
I was the first black woman public housing tenant to be the executive director of a citywide public housing organization. I had a staff of 13 organizers who, I challenged South Boston, Charlestown, the whole 9 yards. And I organized myself out of job. HUD.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But, if you can look, I was,
Sorry.
well, excuse me.
Mr. Mavrick,
Yes.
should we, as, tenants here at Rogerson be concerned about HUD, because from reading.
Yes, you do,
Um,
you should.
Trump is trying to take funding away from HUD,
Yeah.
so how do we, get comfort in knowing something's going to
Yeah.
work out there?
The funding will primarily affect mostly the new developments or like any future projects. There's an obligation for them to continue to do their part here. The state will also, and the city will supplement in areas. So it's, again, priorities and decisions that we're making in this moment, what's most important, and it's our vulnerable populations that we really gotta turn to. So I'm gonna make sure that we're not taking funding away from these buildings and from services that you deserve and need. Again, because, we think about how this community got to this point, and I've been doing my research. And with redlining and programs like B-Bird, that essentially force people into this community, and are really buy anywhere else. But we also had high interest mortgages, and people were underwater as soon as they bought their homes. So we could have had the American dream at that point, but we were preyed upon. And there was a divestment in our community from municipal, state, and federal. They essentially try to ghettoize our community. And I don't forget those injustices. We have to pay it forward. And sadly, you are living with those injustices today. So I'm not trying to add on to that to you. In this moment, we're trying to figure out how do we repatriate some of your taxes, some of the work that you did for your community. How do we support you in this moment? And I'm very focused in on that. Thank you. I'm gonna leave my car with everybody.
Give
You
me
guys
the
can
number
give me-
and I can give it to my brother.
Yeah. You guys give me a call. And,
Thanks, son.
Okay. All right. You take care.
So the answer to my question is, yes, we should be concerned?
no, not as much as you think, because it's mostly, new developments that are.
Okay.
So anybody else who's trying to get into, HUD properties,
Thank you.
these are the folks that we're concerned with right now.
Okay.
But you're not gonna lose your home overnight. That ain't gonna be the case.
Thank you.
And we'll make sure that that's not the case. And for this tyrant that's in the White House right now,
Yes.
the way we fight against him is when we band together.
Yeah.
And we look out for our most vulnerable in this moment. We don't lose anybody. And that's how you make him understand that he's losing. And he's not gonna prevail in this moment. So it's an affront on so many things in our lives, and we just gotta band together and stay strong. So, and I'm gonna make sure to be at the front lines for our most vulnerable population.
What I always wonder is, why so many candidates? Is it 11 you said? Did any of you try to work together and have 4 or 5 of you and the other ones work
Yeah.
together?
No, in the dynamic,
That's what happened with Shaw.
I've never tried to ask somebody to not run. I've only said to everybody, because everybody has their reason and mission, and they care about their community.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who am I to tell them? Let the voters tell them, right? So, it's not up to us. It's up to the community to say, hey, in this moment, we think there should be less people. You guys will have that opportunity September 9th, of course. But just to finish this point, I appreciate, and I've engaged everybody, and I told them, whatever energy that you're bringing to this moment, if any of us aren't successful, let's make sure we continue to work and support whoever wins.
Right.
Right.
Because in this moment, we need each other,
Right.
and you can't just give up on the work.
Mhm.
Because the more fractured we are, the more that we're gonna lose out.
Mhm.
So that's what I vowed to the ultimate winner. And now I hope it's me, of course, but I'm also willing to continue to work if it's not. So that's my promise, and I've asked everybody else to do that too.
Okay. My one last question.
Yep.
I was trying to get a candidate to come, you're the first candidate, right?
Yeah.
But I was told that the candidates refused to do a forum. Have you refused to look at, but I also heard there was forums going on. But I heard that yesterday, I haven't heard about none of them.
I can't tell you how this actually really came together, to be honest with you, because,
Which, no, I'm gonna find out, you don't have to.
yeah, sure, please do.
No.
Because my team reached out in advance,
Mhm.
and so they coordinated on my behalf, so.
Okay.
Can I get a picture with y'all before I leave?
Oh, I'm gonna say, damn right, yes, cause I have to put it in my,
Is that right?
Absolutely. They say it's okay, it's okay.
you come on, you come in the picture. In my picture. I mean, you don't wanna sit with us, stand with us?
Yeah, I'm waiting for everyone to come over this way.
I'm just asking.
Absolutely.
Okay. And somebody, shoot. Take a I want to know my camera too.
Whoever wants to participate, you know? Pictures are an option if they want to.
Mine is too, but usually when they take them on other people's cameras, they don't send them to me. Let's see now.
How about I take one with the two of you?
Ooh. Oh, yes, please. Oh,
I hope you appreciate it.
come on now. Now, enjoy, excuse me.
All right, there you are.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And then does anyone want to take a picture with the councilman? I'll take it for you.
Thank you so much. Portugal, and, you know, if you have any other questions, just give me a call, and I'll keep myself available.
Yes, they don't want you.
Anyone take a picture?
I can take individual pictures of everybody.
We take one, me too. Oh, you get yours.
Oh, nothing, what's up with you?
Anyone else?
Same old, same old.
Me and you, three of us. Okay, do mine. I didn't turn.
Ain't I lucky right now?
Yes, you are.
All right, that's yours.
Okay, thank you, honey.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
No.
All right.
Well, it was a great pleasure.
Yes, it was.
I really appreciate talking to y'all, and I don't care who you guys vote for. I do to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Please make sure you get other people out to the polls with you.
Okay. That's right. Do you help with our transportation? Help with transportation?
To get to the polls? Yes, I can. Give me, I gave you my card. If you want to send me an email, I can arrange something.